Ahoj, vítejte v Chalupa Czech. Já jsem Matouš. Welcome to Chalupa Czech. My name is Matt, and in this video I'm just going to talk about why I'm learning Czech, how I'm learning Czech, and at the end of the video there will be a little tip that I learned from my teacher today. So my dad is from Prague, and he escaped Czechoslovakia in 1968 when the Russians invaded. And he was actually in the army as well, but he knew that it wasn't looking good because of the Russians. So he escaped to Canada, and voila, here I am. So yeah, I wanted to learn Czech, and I just started about a year and a half ago just to be closer to my dad. He spoke to me up until I was about 12 years old, and he sent me to Czech Republic when I was 10, and I actually got pretty good at speaking the language. I would say fluent for a 10-year-old. I was there the whole summer, and I remember trying to convince these kids that I was from Canada, and they didn't believe me, and they were saying, okay, let's see how your English is. And they were like, cat, dog, and I don't remember what I said. I said something in English like, wow, that's impressive, and they just stared at me. But it's funny because all my memories in Czech, when I was in Czech Republic, all my memories are in my head in English, even though I was speaking Czech. But since then, I just kind of lost it, just came back and didn't really want to speak it, which I kick myself for. And just last year, a friend of mine who was a missionary in Turkey, and started learning Turkish at 28, and by the end of 2 years he was preaching and speaking it fluently. And I always had this myth, I believe the myth, that you can't learn a language as an adult, and he totally just refuted that and told me, like, you can learn better as an adult because you understand it. Your first language, you already learned one language, and you learn differently than a child would learn. So I just decided to pursue it, and it's kept me in contact with family from Czech Republic, my uncle, my cousins, so it's been great in that sense. And how I did it, I basically started to just search on YouTube. I just scoured how to learn Czech, how to learn a new language. I found Tuddy Gavin, and he's got plenty of stuff on there, tips on how to learn, and I actually bought a book that he suggested on the Czech case system. This is the case book for Czech, and it's been quite helpful actually, but I did not start studying grammar until after my first year because I'm a slow learner. I would not consider myself like a language expert. I'm not a linguist. I didn't go to school for it. I'm probably below average when it comes to learning stuff, and that's fine. And I figured if I looked at a bunch of graphs and charts, I would just get discouraged. So if you're a beginner, I wouldn't suggest that, but it's not a bad idea to put a little bit of grammar in there. I learned from a method called, or I'm still learning, comprehensible input. The first year, it's suggested from a lot of people to just have heavy amounts of vocabulary, lots of speaking, and this one guy who was learning his 12th language, who I saw on YouTube, can't remember his name, he was learning Arabic, and he basically just got his teacher to pull out a book with lots of pictures, or a magazine, and it was 98% Arabic on the first day. They met up for coffee about 2 to 3 times a week, and he would just say, this is a book, I'm opening the book, here's a picture in the book, and explain everything. Like, here's a picture of a dog running to a tree, a cat, and then he would make the guy learning Arabic repeat it after him. And then the next day, he would come back with that stuff memorized, and he would just repeat it to him. So you just learn with, almost like a child would learn. You just learn with heavy content, lots of repetition, and it's fun. I actually did that with a teacher for a long time, and I find it fun. My cousin and I were doing that. I was helping him with English. He was helping me with Czech, and you learn a lot of vocabulary that way, and you go on all these rabbit trails, but it doesn't matter, you're learning. I also watch, and you gotta listen to the language, just flood yourself with tons of listening, and really pay attention to what they're saying. So I watch Tari, he's a parkourist. I also watch Czech with a Prager, Ecolinguist. He's Polish. He works with Czech with a Prager a lot of times. But I like the fact that even though he's Polish, he has like inter-Slavic conversations. So I would just focus on the Czech one. Slow Czech is really good. And then I would watch sermons by Didasco CZ and Kristane Kurim, and they would have sometimes an English speaker coming, a pastor, and then there'd be a Czech translator. So you'd hear the English and the Czech, English and the Czech, and then eventually I just tried to listen to just the Czech, and then I'd write down on a whiteboard like words I don't know, and then try to put them down on paper after. Also, some apps that I would recommend is Ankidroid. It's just a flashcard app. I pay for LingQ, LingQ. It's only like $150 a year, I think, but it's great because you can take any transcript and you can put it on the website, and then it translates it for you, and then all the words that you don't know are in blue, and you click on it, you create a link, it turns yellow, and as you get to know that word more and more, the color eventually fades. And you can like see what your score is, how many words you know on the actual app. You can have it on your phone, computer. I read every night using that, and you can just read using a normal book, but a lot of the Czech books I have, I don't want to mess them up, so I'll just convert it to a LingQ format. I'll type it in my computer. I don't have a Czech typewriter or a Czech keyboard, I mean. So I'll just use the website typeit.org, and it actually has tons of different languages, and you can put the special characters in there yourself. I use Duolingo a little bit, not very much, just kind of here and there when I can. And I do learn stuff, but I would not suggest just using Duolingo. Italki is amazing. It has all the teachers on it that you can find online, and it's perfect during COVID. So a lot of times these teachers, they'll be like community tutors or professional teachers, so the prices range from $5 to $30 or $40 an hour, and you pay by credit card. And then there's Tandem and HelloTalk. So those are free apps where you can actually meet with people. So Tandem, you can actually have video chats with other people who want to learn English, and then you want to learn Czech. So you do a language trade. The only thing is you're only 50% of the time speaking your target language, and then the other 50 they're speaking. But that's a great free resource if you can't afford to pay for lessons. They also have tutors. And then HelloTalk is another one, but they don't have a video chat format. It's just you type things, and then people can correct it, and they'll actually be able to, and you can correct other people's English, and you can actually cross out words. It'll be in red, and then you put the right one in green. So that one is actually really helpful. And you can arrange to meet with them after. It doesn't really matter. And some other ones that are more like games, kind of like Duolingo, Clozemaster, CLOZE Master, and it's more for advanced beginner, but it has like sentences with blank spots where the word's missing, and you just fill in the word. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, that's just heavy content. I also use Netflix a lot. I'll change the language settings at the beginning, like the very front of the profile, to Czech, and then tons of the movies are dubbed in Czech, and then you can also have Czech subtitles for those movies, so that's an amazing way to learn. And then there's tons of stuff on YouTube, like even like Peppa Pig I was watching in Czech with my kids. And my tip of the day, I learned this today. So if you're going to say in Czech, I'm learning Czech, the best way to say it is učím se česky or studovat češtinu. Studovat češtinu. And then the other thing I learned, which I've probably done wrong many times, is if you like something, so like let's say you have a hobby and your hobby is airplanes, like you build airplanes, you'd say mít rád letadlo. And it's a noun, so you'd start with mít rád, and then if you have a verb like to run, if you like to run, you'd say rád běžít. So you use nouns mít rád and then verbs rád, or if you're a woman, ráda. And yeah, that's my tip of the day for you. Thank you very much. Nashledanou.